How's it going, everybody? Patrick here, just to give you a quick idea on how to get into a fat burning state. Okay, so it is in the booklet, it is in the metabolic diet handout. It's in quite a lot of stuff that are found in the members area, but it's kind of hard to get your kind of head around it. Okay, it is quite actually sort of a simple process once you understand it, but reading it, it's kind of hard to, really kind of take it in. Okay, sometimes you just kind of get lost in words. So I know that, whenever we do kind of have people up, we bring people up every now and then. If you're doing kind of like a half PT session, we go through the nutritional side of things, that people do actually get quite a good understanding of it rather quick. Okay, but it just needs to be explained to you. You need to have someone kind of describe it to you in, talking more so than kind of reading it. Okay, so fat burning. First of all, we have to talk about kind of the two energy sources that are most kind of prevalent in us and that we burn at any time. Okay, and that is sugars and fats. Okay, now at any one time you're burning a ratio of each, a ratio of sugars or ratio of fats. You're rarely kind of just sort of like burning just one. Okay, I know that you're always on some level burning just fats. You're not always just burning sugars. You're always going to be burning fat on some level, and there are kind of ways to like alter your diets that you're just burning fat, things like ketosis, like the Atkins diet. But to be honest, I don't really think they have much place in sort of like an athletic body, okay, or a fit body. Okay, so two energy sources. Number one is sugar, and number two is fat. Okay, and there it is on the seesaw, okay, in this sort of a balancing act. Okay, so what we're looking to do is we're trying to get this fat right down into a fat burning state. Okay, so you can see that if your body is only burning a ratio of two energy sources, it makes sense that if you were to take one away, you'd be burning more of the other. Okay, and that's actually how the body works. The body can adapt very well. So in the decline of sugar, when you stop eating carbohydrates, your body actually sends signals around your body. I won't go into the technical side of it now, but it sends hormonal signals to your fat cells to actually release. Okay, so I'll just touch on it really quickly, right? So a fat cell, all cells in your body have essentially what's like a little car park space. Okay, now these little car park space are like a parking space for hormones. Okay, and if a hormone binds in and connects, it actually causes the cell to do an action. Okay, so certain hormones can come in, go into fat cells, and actually get the fat cell to release into your bloodstream to be burnt off. Okay, and that's actually how we actually burn body fat. Of course, the negative side of it is, other hormones can go in and pretty much tell it to kind of stay where it is. Okay, and that's what we're trying to avoid at all times. So we're trying to send as much signal to get your body to burn fat as possible. Okay, so I'll wipe this out of the way. So your body has stored body fat all over it. Okay, so fats. Your body has fat stored all over it. Write this in green, and that's essentially what you're trying to tap into. Okay, now in the presence of sugars, you eat a lot of sugar, goes in through the gob, down and in through your bloodstream. Okay, obviously it gets processed in your stomach, but we're just going to keep it simple. Okay, so it goes around your bloodstream. Okay, now just for this, you can imagine that if you've got a lot of sugar rushing around your body, okay, you're tipping the scales up for sugar. You don't need body fat. Okay, so your body actually sends a signal around your body. The hormone is called insulin. Okay, you might have heard of that. Insulin would tell your fat not to be released. It's just not needed. And in fact, it actually tells fat in your diet, in your bloodstream, to store, because with all this, fast available energy, there's no need for fat. Okay, our bodies are stupid. They don't know what we want. They don't know that we want to be lean. They're just kind of adapting to whatever energy you're putting into them. Okay, so hopefully you can kind of make this out. Yeah, so the sugar floating around the bloodstream. Now, so fat, any additional fat that gets eaten with the sugars that goes down the gob, it's going to be stored. Okay, so that's actually how you put on additional body fat. Okay, and of course, if you're not using the carbohydrates, that is floating around your bloodstream, they actually can get converted and stored into fats as well. So the red can actually turn into green. You end up getting you're putting on fat pretty gradually over time. Okay, so at times, now I will get back to sugars because they do have an important function. So if you were to just eliminate sugars for a period of time from your diet, okay, I'll say a period of time because you don't want to eliminate them altogether. Okay, if you were to cut out sugars, so you knock sugars out, okay, well then this would tip the scales towards fat. Okay, so you know, the yo-yo effect will drop down, and then this is like your fat burning state, okay? So now it's not really just enough to knock out the sugars. You need to actually eat fats. You need to bear down a weight on that side, okay? So when your body senses fats coming in, and just fats, and we'll try and keep to like, you know, healthy unsaturated fats, okay? You know, it's not the same. We're not looking for like, you know, the saturated fats in meats or in chocolates or anything like that. No. We're talking about like, you know, fish, nuts, seeds, avocados, oils, things like that. Okay, so when you're eating fats, your body senses this and gets into basically an optimal fat burning state, okay? It senses fat coming in. It's like, well, there's not really much sugar coming in and there's a lot of fats coming in. So, you know, I'm gonna start powering myself around these fats. Now, the whole thing about it is that if you're eating kind of a relatively, you know, careful diet, you know, if you're eating nothing but like, let's say, fish, chicken, you know, veg and fats, you know, you're staying away from all the carbohydrates that make you hungry and you're eating a lot of veg, chances are it's hard to overeat these things, okay? So you're probably gonna have, if you have a metabolism of 2,500, you could be eating maybe like 1,500. That's like a lot of meals. That's like, you know, 5 decent meals of like meat, fish or veg with fats. Okay, and you're losing about 1,000 calories a day, okay? So we want that 1,000 calories to come from body fat, okay? And in the presence of fats, because this 1,500 here actually contains fats, if I can get the lid off, this actually contains fats, okay? It's gonna keep you in a fat burning state. So generally this is gonna come from body fat, okay? The excess that isn't found in your actual food will come from fat, okay? Because we do know that in the presence of fats, you will send that hormonal signal around to actually mobilize other fats to burn off, okay? And that's why in like, you know, when you're eating a lot of fats in your diet, you never really get lulls, you don't really drop down, okay? Because the exact opposite would go for carbohydrates. Let's just say you were to eat in a different, your metabolism is 2,500, and you do something, you know, one of those healthy, crappy diets. I'm not going to start slamming everything else out there, but you start to eat, let's say, 1,500 calories of just a calorie restricted diet that still has a lot of carbohydrates. You know, like certain meals that would have like a healthy lasagna or some bollocks like that. Okay, so you're now burning 1,000 calories a day, grand. But when your body is in, let's say, essentially a sugar burning state. Now we know that besides maybe like in muscle tissue for muscle function, you don't really store sugar around your body like you do body fat, okay? So there is no backup stores to call upon when it comes to sugars. There's just not, okay? So when you eat 1,500 calories, if that's all you're eating, well then generally the other 1,000, it will probably come from fat initially, but you'll just start to slow down. You know that when you eat carbohydrates, you don't eat enough, you get like, oh, you get like a lull, you get like a sugar crash, okay? Because it doesn't have anything else to call upon like fat. Fat has your body fat to actually, you know, keep you energized. So you don't really kind of get that lull. But with sugars, you do get a lull and you'll just kind of tire out kind of rather quickly, okay? And you tiring out, if you're not really like, if you're tired and you're less energetic and you're doing less, you are essentially burning less calories, okay? That's you literally feeding your metabolism drop down, okay? If you have a little calorie counter attached to your body, that's like how many calories did I burn today? Obviously the days that you're feeling wrecked, you burned less, okay? So this, your metabolism will eventually start to drop, okay? So then after a lot of hard progress, your metabolism is now 2,000, okay? And then your progress, your calorie deficit, how many calories you're burning a day, drops to 500, okay? And then eventually your metabolism will start making its way down to 1,500 until you're actually not burning anything anymore, okay? And that's why, that's a yo-yo diet. That's why, you know, you start eating this way and then you, oh, great results at the start, you know, I feel crap, but I'm getting great results. And then eventually the results just sort of diminish, okay? So eventually your metabolism will drop down to 1,500 and then your progress is now a big fat 0, okay? Now you get fed up, you're like, to hell with this, you know, 1,500 calories isn't really good for your system. You know, you get these nasty side effects that kind of stress you out. You know, they make you really hungry, they fatigue you, they can be bad for your skin, bad for your breath, pretty much really bad for you, okay? So your new metabolism is 1,500 and then you go back to your old diet because you're fed up, okay? And you start eating 2,500 and now you're putting on 1,000 calories a day, Okay, that's where the yo-yo diet comes up. Okay, it goes up and it goes down, and this is a beautiful, an absolutely beautiful model for a lot of companies out there, because they just want to keep you kind of putting on weight, dropping weight, putting on weight, dropping weight. Because to be honest, the people that kind of like, you know, understand this system and they eat like a lot of kind of raw, you know, a lot of you know, meats, fish, raw veggies, things like that, they'll generally stay lean for the rest of their lives, and they're absolutely, you know, no use to, like, you know, a lot of the slimming companies out there, okay, who actually want to kind of keep you in this system up and down. Okay, so this is purposefully not general information, okay, because it's, no one really profits off this. Do you know what I mean? No one really profits off this except your local butcher and your local greengrocer. Okay, so no big companies can really make that much money off it. Okay, so that's why they try and keep you in this system here. Okay, so the idea is to have a diet, lots of protein, because you always need protein for muscle development. Okay, remember that your muscle is responsible for your metabolism. So that 2,500, if I was to put on, let's say, an extra 2 pounds of muscle, that my metabolism may be 2,600. Okay, so you can say that like a pound of muscle needs about an extra 50 calories a day just to maintain it. Okay, so if I put on 2 pounds of muscle, I'm now burning an extra 100 calories a day. Fantastic. And that's what the underground is all about. It's about developing your metabolism. Okay, so there's no reason why you can't be eating 1,500 if you're eating it correctly. And you know, there's no reason why you can't be putting on muscle mass kind of while you're burning fat. Okay, maybe you need to be dropping that maybe down to like burning 500 calories a day, just so there's enough there to support some muscle growth. Okay, but ideally what you're looking to do is build up your metabolism as much as possible. You can see that this person down here, when they go back to their old diet of eating 2,500, if they got their metabolism up to 3,000 and they go back to their old diet, they're still burning fat, because they're actually still losing 500 calories a day. Okay, obviously they have to take some of the elements of the metabolic diet with them, like keep eating fats and stuff like that, or else they're just going to fall back into the negative side of things. Okay, so let's see what else we have to touch on. Now, in terms of carbohydrates, sugars, they do serve a purpose. Okay, they are responsible for brain function and for powering yourself, powering muscle contraction. Okay, so they are important. Okay, so you try doing something like the Atkins diet and training, and it's not going to last very long at all. You will lose muscle mass, and again, eventually you'll lose your metabolism. Okay, so it is important that at some part of the day you do take carbohydrates in, and being that they are like the fast energy, that's kind of like too fast. It's too fast, gets you up too high, and then it leaves you in a crash. It's good to have it like in the morning. So carbohydrates come in the morning. So your sugars come in early in the morning. Okay, if this is like a time frame that we're going to look at from morning down to night. Okay, so snack, lunch, dinner, another snack. Okay, so you take your sugars in relatively early, and that's why people are always like, oh, it's fantastic to eat porridge and muesli, and make sure there's no added sugar in that, and granola in the morning. Okay, because you want to actually, you don't wake up, you wake up with a low blood sugar. You need to balance it out. Okay, so that's why you take in low GI carbohydrates, like good low impact sugars. It's the difference between porridge and like Frosties or something like that would be like the impact it has. So those little bit of sugars not only will give you a bit of sugar to like fuel like muscle function and stuff like that, and brain function, but it will also kind of like get you up and at it in the day. Okay, so think of sugars like as fire lighters that like burns the coal. Okay, and the coal is fats. Choosing the green marker for, so fats. Okay, now you only really need one energy source at a time. As we said, when you're eating sugars, fat isn't really needed, so it gets stored. So you don't really need fats when you're eating your sugars. So, but then when the sugars go, remember, very important, this is the most important thing, okay, is that fats come in, okay, because you need to tip the scales. You need to have fats coming in, even if you're, eating an extra 500 calories of fats per day. People will be like, oh, that's 500 calories, that's progress. It's not. You need to get yourself into that fat burning state, or else you're not really going to see consistent progress. You're not going to maintain muscle mass, and it's really just not going to work for you, bottom line. And then protein, use the blue. Protein, it's responsible for your metabolism, for muscle growth, so you want to have that generally coming in. You're always recovering. The day after you train, you're recovering. The next day you're recovering, you're always recovering. Your muscles are always rebuilding with amino acids that you eat. So it is important that you take that in at a pretty consistent level. Okay, so sugars come in early, fats come in out later through the day, making this your fat burning block. That's when you're burning fat. Okay, up into bedtime. Okay, you want to be burning fat through the night. You should wake up. When you wake up in that morning, you should wake up kind of eating fat rather flushed, probably like at your leanest when you wake up at that point. Okay, then you wake up, but you're feeling lean, but you're also feeling a bit groggy. Oh God, you know, I can't think. So have your sugars, fuel your brain function, get yourself up for the day. And when it gets to like lunchtime, you know, knock out the carbohydrates. Just keep with the fats. If it's about preparing yourself, like, you know, fish, chicken, veggies, especially the green cruciferous veggies like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, spinach, just get them into you with some fats. You know, it doesn't have to be some like beautifully constructed meal, okay? You can just have like, you know, some like fish and veg, and you're like, oh, how do I get some fats in there? You know what I mean? You know, peanuts. You know, it could be a spoon of peanut butter. It doesn't really matter. You just need to get it in. It can be something separate that you're just taking in, okay? So I actually instruct people in a work day. They're like, oh God, I'm finding it really hard to get in my fats. Bring a tub of peanut butter into work and just gonna wolf it down when no one's looking, okay? It's as easy as that. So yeah, your fat burning state happens when you start eating the fats, okay? Don't just drop off the sugars. It's not just enough to drop off the sugars. You need to get yourself eating fats so that all the fat that you eat goes in, calls upon a buddy, pulls it off your body into the bloodstream so that it's burnt, okay? So remember, when you eat fat, it sends the hormonal signals to optimize your body, which sends those hormones into that little car park that we were talking about in the cells of fat. That goes in, sends a signal, like, mate, come on, let's go, we're going to burn some energy, and the two of them then fly off together, and that leaves you like well powered throughout the day and ending up kind of rather lean, okay? Hopefully that made sense. If it didn't, just read the booklet and then just watch this video again, okay? Because, you know, this is probably, if you want to kind of be lean for the rest of your life, this is probably the most important thing you could ever know. I'm not just saying that lightly, it is, okay? The understanding of this and how you burn fat is actually what will make you lean, okay? Not the crap that you buy, especially not the crap you buy from pharmacies. It drives you mad, okay? It's useless. So a good understanding of what you need to eat. There's information up on the site in the members area. If you have any questions, you can email me, info@underground.ie or patrick@yourfitness.ie, or else you can just kind of catch me in-house if you have any questions on it, okay? So we still offer the half PT consultation sessions up here to kind of go through what you're eating and give you a better understanding of what you need to do, get you like to write down a diet log and be like, well, are you feeling tired here? You know, we'll just come on in. Yeah, you can come in. Say hello to Cormac. So you can eat, yeah, as I said, you can come up, get a kind of like half consultation to go through your diet, see where you might be going wrong, okay? Because it all has a bearing. If you're tired at any point, you know, there's something going wrong there, okay? A good fat burning state should be constant energy, no cravings, you know, a good mood, and what have I got? Cravings, energy, mood, and you're never hungry, okay? So important as well for your metabolism to eat kind of regularly, okay? Because if you're only having like, you know, chicken and veg, it's not going to be long before you get hungry. So try and eat like every 3-4 hours just to keep your like metabolism humming, okay? So any questions, again, email me or catch me in class. I'll probably put this up on Facebook, so if you have any questions, you can just kind of post them underneath and I'll answer them. I'll reply to them, okay? Right, so I'll see you in the underground soon.